Hi, this is Governor Chris Sununu. As many of you know, I typically am right there with you when we're all able to gather together for the Waypoint SleepOut. And while this year's event is being held virtually again, last year's remote SleepOut proved that no matter where we are, we all rally together for this important cause no matter what. It's just as important as ever that we all do our part again this year to help address youth homelessness. Whether it's helping raise awareness, fundraising, or doing work throughout the community, it's so important that we all step up. Look, if you're watching this, you understand the need, you get it. But the homework for each of us is to now bring a few other folks to the table, a few other people into the conversation to keep growing the support network. Remember, this is an issue we can't focus on for just a day or a week, but we have to stay committed to year-round. If we keep building the network and raising awareness with that same urgency, there's no telling what we can accomplish together. A big thanks to the entire team at Waypoint for never taking their eye off the ball. And a big thanks to all of you for what you guys do. Keep up the great work.
Hello, I'm Borja Alvarez de Toledo, President and CEO of Waypoint. Welcome to the 8th Annual Waypoint SleepOut. Thank you, Governor Sununu.
And I'm Erin George Kelly, Director of Waypoint's Homeless Youth and Young Adult Services.
It is so good to be with all of you tonight, even though over the internet. But the good news of going remote is that we have people from all ages and all walks of life, all across the state, so we can show solidarity statewide.
There's a few hundred of you out there with us. I see the stars on the Seacoast, Dr. Wendy Gladstone and team, law enforcement from Rochester and Manchester, including Patch the Comfort Dog, teams from Procon, New Hampshire Magazine, Rise, Sertronics, Velcro, Team Wings of Kindness, several Waypoint board members, and staff from our own Homeless Youth and Young Adult Department.
And I know we can't name everybody here, but I'm also seeing Dairyfield School Equity Club, the students from Spalding High School in Rochester, a veteran sleeper inspired by her own experience with homelessness, and a special young person, Louise, who is sleeping out in honor of her 17th birthday. Happy birthday, Louise. You know, it is also my birthday, although I'm a little older, and I can't think of a better way to celebrate it than making a difference in the lives of the most at-risk youth in New Hampshire. But let's get right to why we're here tonight. We have a real problem. We have a problem in New Hampshire, and we have numbers to support it. Over 500,000 people are unhoused in America on any given night. 500,000 people. And approximately 4.2 million young people experience homelessness every year. To break that down further, 1 in 10 young adults 18 to 25 and 1 in 30 adolescents ages 13 to 17 will experience some form of homelessness this year. And this problem has gotten worse because of the pandemic and the lack of services.
In New Hampshire, that's about 15,000 young people, with 8 out of 10 counties in our state reporting an uptick in student homelessness. Last year, Waypoint connected to almost 500 young people who didn't know where they were going to sleep that night or where their next meal would come from. Each youth has a unique story that led them to us. Most have felt unsafe at home, were kicked out, or have experienced lifelong housing instability or generational poverty. They may couch surf or sleep in cars or spend their nights in places not fit for human habitation. Almost 80% of them will not have the option to return home. We help them by providing survival aid, case management, transitional housing, connection to education and employment, and more to contribute to their long-term stability. But when we close the doors at night, we just hope that they are safe until the morning. The longer they remain homeless, the harder it is to exit it. The threats grow with each passing day. Substance use, violence, sexual exploitation, trauma, pregnancy, health problems, and growing barriers to education and employment. Even when they can get a job, they can't afford an apartment. New Hampshire ranks second in the country for inequities between wage and housing costs. So if you're a young person trying to lift yourself out of homelessness here, you're sort of set up for failure.
You know, last time we checked, New Hampshire scored only 47 out of 100 in its investment toward preventing and ending youth homelessness. And there's another scary number, 34. That's how many people died last year while homeless in New Hampshire. So homelessness is also lethal.
And here's the thing, if you're over 18 and homeless in New Hampshire, there's really nowhere for you to go. The only option for an 18 to 25-year-old is an emergency crisis bed in an adult shelter. And New Hampshire is the only state in New England with no emergency crisis shelter dedicated to youth or young adults.
Well, the good news is that change is about to happen. Through many partners, advocates, philanthropists, and political leaders, New Hampshire is stepping up and is on its way to developing a comprehensive plan to end homelessness. And the responsibility is not only on you to make it happen, because your efforts are going to be amplified by a nationwide push to end homelessness. Thanks to our state and city leaders, close to $2 million is being invested in this mission and will subsidize our expansion in 3 target areas across the state. Added to what we raised through our SleepOut, this is really a game changer, not only for those we serve, but for everyone who lives and works in New Hampshire.
As we speak, we're in the process of establishing youth resource center drop-ins in Rochester and Concord, and an overnight shelter for young people in Manchester, which will be the first and only one of its kind to provide crisis response for young adults in New Hampshire. We hope to open the doors to each of these throughout the coming months. We have a lot of work to do between now and then on construction, but we have buildings and staff mobilized in each region, laying the groundwork for our launch. So now we're going to toss it to our regional teams who each submitted a message to give you a brief glimpse of their new buildings, share why this matters in their region, and to tell you about a young person they're currently working with. To start us off, here's Amy Malone with an overview from the heart.
Nothing is more heartbreaking than having to give an 18 or a 19-year-old a tent and a tarp because shelters are full, shelters don't work for them. When we think about runaway and homeless youth and young adults, they can be outside, they can be couch surfing, they could be doubled up. So we try to do the best we can with helping with essentials. We don't have spaces for clients to come. We do try to provide food, clothing, survival items. These are the bags that we use for outreach. We try, when we're doing like tent site or community outreach, to fill this bag with the stuff that we think this population may need. So we usually have socks, hygiene items, toothpaste, toothbrushes, water.
What young people need is not always out there, and we never have enough money or resources to do it. The wait lists, the things that our young people need are just so hard to achieve. Things that weigh heavily on our minds the most are the fact that we don't have appropriate overnight shelters for our young people. we do have to close the doors, and we know that we have young people in cars, in unsafe circumstances, positions, whether it's, with family that isn't doing so hot, or an abusive partner. We lay in bed with our eyes wide open, thinking of ways that we can use what we have better, more efficiently. I dream of fundraising things all the time, and how I can get donations and things, and just to just provide the best safety nets for our young people. We see some kids that are just so broken, and we love them as much as we can, and there's not enough of us to go around. There's not enough hours in the day, and there's not enough resources that are directed towards our young people. We do supportive counseling, and sometimes we just don't know what to say and to do, and having to say there isn't a lot we can do right now, or we're out of gas cards, or we're out of laundry, or we don't have a safe place for you to sleep tonight. That's hard.
One of the huge things that we want to do at the drop-in center is make that center a safe space that all of these things that we have is easily accessible to our young adults. We'll still be going out into the community, we'll still be doing all those other things, but letting them pick their own stuff is huge. It gives them some autonomy to make those decisions, because ultimately that's our long-term goal, is to not just keep these young people alive, but to get them housed and get them the supportive services that they need so they can live the life that they want to and that they deserve.
Hello, hello. So Amy and I are moving up on what is to be our drop-in center. We're excited, right, Amy?
We are super excited,
Film.
and we're trying not to. So you kind of have to look beyond what it looks like right now, which is one of the reasons why the SleepOut is so important, because you can see that there is a lot of work that's going to be done, even cosmetically, on this building, which requires funds, and the supportive services and all the program that we do inside the building also requires intention and funding. So when we think about this space, we think about a safe place for youth and young adults, a place where you can go just to be, or involve yourself in case management, be part of a support group, play a game, take a shower, do your laundry. And again, all of those things are needed. Those are like basic life skills, life sets. And it's what we want to be able to provide in this space.
Hi everyone, my name is Tori. I am one of our street outreach workers on the Seacoast. I just left a client meeting. I had a young person who just moved into their own apartment with an FYI voucher, which is a voucher for young adults and youth who are aged out of foster care. She's in her own space. We just worked on applying for some rental assistance to help with her portion of her rent and utilities. We worked on some paperwork for her DHHS benefits, talked about connecting her with local food resources, and getting some items that she needs for her house to make it really feel like home. So I'm going to connect with her again probably tomorrow to just follow up, but that was a really good and successful meeting.
Hi, my name is Joss, and I'm an outreach social worker with Waypoint. I work with youth that are between the ages of 12 to 18 that are experiencing some housing instability or maybe on their own in a variety of different ways. Just for a peek into what a day usually looks like for me, today I came into the office with plans of attending my already scheduled client meetings, but actually came in to find I had an urgent referral from a local shelter that had a 15-year-old reach out looking for emergency housing. He's been living with his mom, and due to poverty and housing instability and just the low vacancy rates in the Seacoast right now, that's about 0 to 3%, they're struggling to find housing that allows them to stay together as a family. So my work with this family is really going to begin diving in, looking at emergency housing options for this young person. That could include staying at one of our host homes. That's a less residential, less restrictive environment where the young person can have a safe, stable place to be and have their needs met, while I'm working with the family to find some housing that allows them to be together and have stability as a family. Funds from the SleepOut help me in supporting the young people I work with, giving them their basic needs, connecting them to critical resources, and giving them those crucial emergency beds when moments like this come up, so that we truly can keep our young people off the streets. Thank you, and thank you for supporting young people in our community.
Welcome to what will soon be Concord's new Youth Drop-In Center. Come on inside.
Hi, I'm Lindsay. And I'm Jess, and we're with Waypoint Street Outreach Program. We began this work back in September based on anecdotal need that we've heard about in Concord, and we are excited to begin this work with young people in the area. We offer boots on the ground targeted outreach, as well as working with other organizations within the community with similar goals to ours. We will be looking forward to opening the drop-in center in the near future, where young adults can come in. We will offer a food pantry. We'll have showers available. They'll be able to do their laundry, use computers, and access case management services to be able to work on their future goals. One great example of the work that we're doing to support young people in Concord is a young couple that we're working with. This young couple is struggling with substance use and have a child in kinship care. We have been working with them to try to figure out what stability looks like for them and to try to help them reach those goals. We hope to continue working with them for the next few months and help them reach these goals.
So as I get to go home and, close up for the night, and my clients are, walking to their spots for the night, I always think about how I get to get into my car and go home, but they don't, and they, are walking to their spots for the night, and how they're going to survive the cold, because I can leave the drop-in and, mention how cold it is, it's freezing, but, I eventually get to warm up, and they got to kind of stick it out for the night, so. And they're always on the back of my mind for sure.
Hello, my name is Ellie and I am a staff member at Manchester's Youth Resource Center. Right now I'm standing at Bronstein Park, and this building behind me is the new building that we purchased. We knew that there was a need for an overnight shelter for youth and young adults here in Manchester, and with the support of SleepOut funding, we were able to buy this building, and pretty soon this summer we're going to have our new Youth Resource Center here, 3 apartments, and an overnight shelter for youth and young adults. This wouldn't be possible without the SleepOut, so we're so thankful for your donations and continued support. Just for some perspective, it was like 6 degrees this morning when I woke up, so not only is this shelter needed, it could be life-saving. Thank you so much.
So you just saw a bunch of the clips about the spaces that we're making at Waypoint throughout the state of New Hampshire, and now we're going to show you a little bit about a particular client, the actual person that you're helping. So next up is a clip of one of our rapid rehousing kiddos. His name is Dylan, and listen to what Dylan says about his story, his struggles, and how the programming that he's being offered has given him a chance to do new things. And you never know, Dylan could be the next great chef or next EMT. We'll see. Tell me a little bit about your journey.
So my journey, I guess I'll take my journey back to school in Woodstock, Vermont. You know, I was always struggled. I was a kid in and out of the principal's office, and I always kind of wanted to be like the cooler kids, you know. So I got into drugs early at 13 years old. You know, it took me down a bad path. I was given the decision eventually to either quit school or to go to rehab because they were sick of me having drugs on my persons. So I went to rehab and kind of just, you know, like BS'd my way through the program and just to get back into school, but still, you know, had that addiction that was present. And, you know, I continued to struggle in school, eventually was asked to leave. So throughout my adolescence now, I've been incarcerated, I've been in, you know, 7 different rehabs, and me and my mother no longer were getting along. You know, she's an alcoholic. You know, I experienced homelessness the past 2 years. It's hard to get a positive mindset when you're around negative energy.
Accessing shelters, adult shelters, doesn't necessarily feel super comfortable for young people. Was that your experience?
Yeah, most definitely. Especially with active addiction in low barrier shelters, you know, especially someone with an addictive personality and, you know, selling drugs in the past, it's hard because there's so much of that atmosphere around you. It's hard to not be dragged into negative thinking and actions. That was my biggest struggle with shelters. You know, my first day down here, I got put into a higher barrier shelter, which is, you know, number one, you know, trying to get in a positive area, you know, so you can have those positive thoughts going. I got in touch with someone and got a job. You know, first day down here is really just trying to keep me busy. I'm working with my turn here in Rochester to try to pursue my education further because, you know, I only have about a 9th grade education. You know, trying to just work with the community. You know, I'm trying to get in there to the soup kitchen to try to help volunteer my time.
Yep.
You know, it's really just trying to be people helping people. You know, you get what you give. You know, you get what you give, and it's as simple as that. You know, I want to give all that I can give so I can get some good karma in return. You know, having my own place and kind of seeing, like, you know, I did this. When I put my mind to something, like, I can accomplish, with a little bit of help, you know, you can accomplish anything. But at the same time, that's when all the hard work begins, you know? Trying to keep that roof over my head, you know, maintaining a positive mindset, going to work every day, going to meetings, and, you know, being active in the community, you know? So I really take it as the day that I walk in those walls is when the real mission starts, you know?
And this is why we're here tonight, for young people like Dylan, each amazing in their own way, and all deserving of a home and a chance and someone who believes in them and to walk beside them, providing help along the way. But right now, I'm really excited to tell you that we're going to have an impact on the lives of a lot more young people than Dylan, because this event has raised, hear this, has raised over $275,000 and counting, because we're expecting a lot more to come over the weekend. So I can imagine on the other side of my screen, you're all out there in your backyards cheering and clapping, and you should, because this would not have been possible without you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We're just about ready to venture out for the night. Throughout the night, please share your experience on social media and tag us at Waypoint NH. Share videos and audio of your experience, and definitely share photos of yourselves on your sleep site holding up your special flashcards of who you're sleeping out for. When you go outside, think about all the young people who do not know where they will sleep tonight. Each one is someone's son, someone's brother, someone, and their stories aren't finished yet. So right now, let's have a moment of reflection, a virtual candlelight vigil to shine a light on them. Tonight, we're all sleeping out for the young person who ran away from abuse, the one who feels like an outcast, the one who is recovering from addiction, the one aged out of her 7th foster home, the one who is kicked out of his home for being gay, the one who has a daughter of her own and promises to give her a better life, and also for the one who wants to join the military, the ones who wants to join to rescue animals, the one who wants to finish school, and the one who wants to teach school, the one who wants to be an emergency medical tech to save lives, and the one who wants to be a social worker to improve lives. Thank you, sleepers. Thank you, supporters. Thank you all. Stay safe out there tonight and know that because of you and your support, New Hampshire's at-risk youth are closer to home. And now we play you out with a tribute to you.